Hello, this is Seth, and welcome to another AFI 100 Ways to Married Film List Review. Today I'm doing All the President's Men. The reason why I'm doing this film now is because I'm reviewing the movie The Post on Friday. And All the President's Men kind of goes the biggest thing that the Washington Post has ever done. And that has to do with investigating the Watergate break-in, June 1972, and this led to Richard Nixon's undoing. The Washington Post used to be original paper, a small regional paper, not as important as the New York Times, as you will find out in the Post. And after they became the big player in the news business because of the printing of the Pentagon Papers, this was their actual biggest story. All the President's Men occupies the 77th position in the 2007 list. It's not on the 1998 list. The players in this movie are Bob Woodward, he's a novice reporter, played by Robert Redford. Carl Bernstein is a veteran reporter who was brought in to help Woodward on his piece, played by Dustin Hoffman. And Ben Bradley was played by Jason Roberts. He's the news editor. Also, Hal Holbrook was Deep Throat on I think it was July 12, 1972. It was a break-in at the Watergate Hotel, the DNC office, Democratic National Committee office. So in 1972, there was a break-in at the Democratic National Headquarters in Washington, D.C. This was the campaign office that was going to elect the governor and president. Well, their headquarters was in the Watergate Hotel. Early in the morning, there was a break-in that was foiled by a security guard. 5 people of Cuban heritage were arrested with listening devices. So the next morning, Woodward was sent over by the Washington Post to cover the break-in at the Watergate Hotel, and he found something strange. He found that these 5 low-level people who were breaking into the hotel had a high-priced lawyer. And furthermore, this lawyer and all the people who were accused of breaking into the office at the Watergate Hotel had ties to the CIA. Now that's interesting because, why would someone with ties to the CIA break into the Democratic National Headquarters? This story automatically got really big really fast, and Carl Bernstein was brought in to help Woodward because he was just a novice reporter, a new guy. They took the story to Ben Bradley, who didn't think there was enough information, because you have to have credible information and all of it to back up what you print in the paper. It's not like these internet news. Well, there was no internet in 1972. But in order to be a credible paper, you have to do a lot of research. And this movie is very, very talky, not enough action. Some people today probably wouldn't like that. I like it because I'm a news junkie, because I used to intern for a paper when I was 19 years old. So I have the news bug. And the reason why I'm not working for news now is sometimes it just makes you feel dirty. Like if an accused child molesting priest is on the catwalk, being brought out of court by the cops, the reporter I was with would yell, "Did you do it, Father? Did you rape those boys?" And that to me is too far. Just it makes me feel dirty, and that's basically why I'm not doing news as a career. Back to the story. So, Jason Roberts, Ben Bradley, didn't feel that there was enough evidence to actually have a story, but he said to keep digging. So Woodward reaches back into his list of confidential informants, just like the police. Reporters have confidential sources, not informants. He came up with this guy called Deep Throat. Deep Throat is very secretive, and he gives a lot of good information, and they have a secret way of contacting him by sticking a flag up on top of a building, and then all this very covert ways of meeting, like meeting in parking garages at midnight. He said to follow the money. How did they pay for the high-priced lawyer, the burglar? How did the burglars pay for the high-priced lawyers? Follow the money. So they started following the money, and they interviewed, and they found out that these burglars were attached to the committee to re-elect the president. That would be Nixon's, what would be a political action committee today. So his pack was named Creep. I don't know why he would name it Creep, but it stands for the Committee to Re-elect the President. CREEP. He started looking into the burglars and who was paying for the burglars' defense. Of course, Ben Bradley said, I want more info. And investigating Creep, the committee to re-elect the president, they found out that, and in investigating Creep, they found out that the committee to re-elect the president was responsible for sabotaging the Democratic efforts to get McGovern into the presidency. When they met with Deep Throat again, he said the CIA and the FBI are involved, which is interesting. Because why would you want the CIA, who is not supposed to operate within this country, to go after the Democrats? And why would you want the FBI to investigate the Democrats? It's just beyond the pale. And after a lot of rewrites, they finally published the story after Richard Nixon was reelected to the presidency, and you probably know the rest. He was eventually forced to leave his office. Now this movie is, we have another investigation into the presidency right now, so this is pretty good. Either way, it's pretty good, and it's kind of boring, but it's just interesting to see how a newspaper works. Newspaper movies, by and large, they are really successful because there's a lot of research and very little action, unlike like bank robbery movie or a cop movie where there's a lot of action. This one is slow, but if you stay with it, it's really interesting to see how it all went down. This is a quintessential political thriller, at least according to me, because when the whole thing came out, it brought down a presidency, and it exposed a lot of really unsavory behavior by that president. That was the first time that a president was investigated. If you like this video, click like and subscribe, and you can visit my links in the dialog box below to see what kind of gear I'm using. I'm shooting today on a Canon 70D 10-18 lens with a nice tip-in filter on the front that smoothed out my skin. I hope you have a good day. Stay tuned for the next one.